Hey, Dr. Siegel, it's me, Beth. I'm at school right now, but I thought it may make for an interesting background. So, happy Halloween. There's my bulletin board. Some of the things that I've learned in this week of role playing is that it takes a lot of imagination and creativity. And it also kind of enhances your creativity. And I realize that, especially like with my students at school, for instance, yesterday they had to draw a monster. They had the hardest time trying to be creative, to think of a different kind of monster to draw. And so it kind of goes back to role playing would definitely enhance this type of learning and enhance their creativity. I took a couple notes, so I'm going to kind of read off of my notes. Role playing also has the fundamentals of arcs. I watched your video that you made where you were sitting with a group around a table, and yeah, it pretty much hit it right on the head. The attention, relevance, the other two, confidence and satisfaction, definitely is found in role playing. Last night I kind of talked a little bit more about what I want to know more about the game master's role and how you go about kind of doing that. But I guess I'm thinking that the more I attempt to do it with my students, the more it should start to become a little bit easier for me as far as writing out the scenarios and seeing how it plays out. I think that after the first time I'll probably get the hang of it. But I'm really excited to write something out for my kids to see. I think they'd really enjoy it, kind of going back to that choose your own adventure. Um, I also learned, I think that it would get better if we were, as a group, I think it would get a lot better if we did it more than just once, because I noticed, like, with our group, we didn't really have any solid leader. So I think that it was kind of funny because we were all reaching to try and come up with, options to take, but yet none of us seemed to want to take that leadership role. And at the same time, I don't think any of us really knew what we were doing exactly. So I think if we did it a few more times, it would become even more fun than it already was that night. How can I use role playing? I talked a little bit about this last night during our discussion. Teaching the narrative elements of a story. And this goes back to Kathy's class too. It was the same idea, whether you're using role playing or you're doing digital story. And I'm a reading teacher basically because I teach second grade. So everything that has to do with role playing really would enhance their idea of narrative elements. Character setting, problem solution. So I see that being a huge fit in my classroom for getting the kids to understand how a story is laid out. I also thought that the role playing and games, period, tend to uh, appeal to multiple intelligences. But also, I know that in the book, Guy, I think it is, he talks about cognitive science as being a lot having to do with game playing. But I also see constructivism as far as role playing goes. I would have to say that you're using what you already know on life experiences and maybe what you've seen on TV to assimilate yourself to what's going on during the game of role playing. So I'd see a lot of that constructivist going on there. I also think that the way I would use this in school is to enhance group dynamics and to see how people react to one another, definitely with my students. Violence is one type of obstacle, and I think Katie was touching on this last night. In school, unfortunately, that's kind of what gets them excited. So, what are you going to do? I know when I read the Goosebumps, Choose Your Own Adventures, we ultimately end up dying when we make the wrong choice. And they seem okay with that, but sometimes I'm wondering how appropriate that is. But if they like it, it's usually more memorable for them, so they end up remembering. Well, this is already about 4 minutes long, so I am going to sign off, but I will see you next week and my next podcast, and hopefully I'll have a different background for you. Have a great weekend. Bye.